Hello, Laura Weigel here with the Will 12 Jewelry and A Course in Crystals. Today we're going to talk about pendulums. I have received so many great questions about pendulums and I'm going to answer them all today. So the first question is, how do I pick my pendulum? And the short, sweet, simple answer is whichever pendulum you feel the most drawn to is the pendulum that's for you. There's really no right or wrong way with that. It's just what you're feeling the most connected to. For example, I picked this nice little nugget amethyst here for myself. There was no reason. It was just when I went and I was picking out pendulums, this is the one that I was most drawn to. It spoke to me. It chose me, as some people like to say, and so that's my pendulum. Some people like to work with these amethyst and clear quartz and crown chakra pendulums because you are wanting to call in the higher energy, source energy. And then some people like to work with black tourmaline, smoky quartz pendulums because they feel that they're very protective and they are going to ward off unwanted, dense energies that aren't for your highest and best. Okay, so that is one school of thought. I personally just pick what I feel the most drawn to because I think that there's a reason that I'm so drawn to that pendulum. So here's my pendulum, and then you want to start to work with your pendulums, right? You want to start to connect with your pendulum. So in connecting with your pendulum could be like just connecting with any other crystal. You might want to sleep with it, carry it in your pocket, have it around you during the day, meditate with it. If you're doing a yoga practice, you can keep your pendulum on the mat with you, but you want to just connect with that pendulum, connecting with the energy so that it knows your energy. And then when you're ready to start working with your pendulum, you just kind of hold it over your fingers like so, letting it hang down. And I like to place a crystal underneath it. This is my Master Quartz healing crystal. It's also a record keeper. But this is the crystal I've chose to be my master crystal. And so I like to hold it over that, giving it the energy. And then you always want to check in with your crystal when you first start to use it. And actually, let's back up. Before you check in, you want to do a little ritual, I guess is what I would call it. And what I do personally, and you'll find what works for you after you do this a few times, but what I do personally is I call in the energy of the highest vibrating white light, pure energy of all love, and that is all of good, to use me as a conduit for the energy to flow, to use the pendulum as a conduit for a message for my higher self. And then I call in Archangel Michael because he is the protecting angel, and I just ask that he be with me during the time of working with the pendulum and asking questions for protection and to keep the energy pure and coming from that heart space. Okay, so after I've done my little protection ceremony and I have my master crystal, I have my pendulum hanging over my hands, what I do is I check in with it every time and I'll say, show me yes. And sometimes I will get different answers. So right now it's going in a circle. So that is the pendulum showing me it's yes. Then I'll say, show me no. And right now the pendulum is moving back and forth. So it's saying back and forth as its no answer. And yes is the circle answer. And that is how I know what my answers will be, because sometimes it changes. For me, it normally is always circle yes. Back and forth is normally no. And if the answer is not clear, it might even just go back and forth. Kind of like that, which you can tell the difference when you make it go and when it goes on its own. So then I check in again with just some really easy answers. Is my name Laura? Okay, so I'm getting a yes. Am I a boy? Okay, so I'm getting a very clear no. Now, another fun way to use the pendulum besides just asking yes or no questions is you can also use it when you're choosing crystals for yourself. So let's just say that you are feeling very drawn to amethyst, selenite, and smoky quartz. And you're not really sure which one that you need to use. You're not feeling a real clear intuitive hit on which one you use. You can take the pendulum and have it go over the stones, and it'll clearly show you a yes or a no for your stones. So pendulums are fun. They're very easy to use. The more you use your pendulum, the more you connect with your pendulum, the more you'll know when it's being accurate for you. And I really encourage you to also, which I don't do, I need to do that, but I normally use my pendulums kind of on a whim, but to just write down your questions and the answers you get in a little journal, which can really be fun to maybe go back and look at and to check your accuracy on those. Okay, so the highlights of this are there's no right or wrong in choosing your pendulum. Once you've chose your pendulum, you want to connect with your pendulum. Before you use your pendulum, you want to do a little protection ceremony with that and just calling in those good high vibrating energies. And then when you're ready to use your pendulum, ask it what your yes and your no answer is going to look like, and then you are ready to go. Okay, happy playing with your pendulum. Namaste.